Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video, we will be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Maker, OXT, aka Orchid. We'll also take a look at XRP and just a quick little news article on the side, but mostly taking a look at it from a technical analysis side and also looking at what the big daily movies are. Movies? What? Wrong channel. The big daily movers are. And so guys, it's going to be a quicker video than normal today. Doesn't seem like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's really going on that much, so I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more to the point. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more cryptocurrency news and technical analysis, as well as if you can, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit the thumbs up like button. We're trying to get to 100 likes on every video that we do, and it definitely helps us out in growing this community and lets me know that you do enjoy this content and you appreciate the time that we do for this. And also, if you can, click the bell icon. That is the best way for you to actually get notified when we have a new video. And, you know, YouTube's pretty bad about that stuff, so it's really important if you do click the bell icon. So let's go ahead and dive first into this news article. Again, very brief information I'm sharing with you guys today. Two New York City bars could make U.S. history by selling for Bitcoin. At first, when I saw this title, I don't know if you're thinking the same thing as me, I thought that they were trying to say that you could go in and buy beer with Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Another business that's accepting it. But no, what they're trying to say is that they're actually looking to sell their whole bar for Bitcoin, or more specifically, Patrick Hughes put his side-by-side Hell's Kitchen, Watering Holes, Hellcat Annie's, and Scruffy Duffy's up for sale. The price tag 25 Bitcoins or 800 Ethereum tokens for both, a value of about $875,000 by current cryptocurrency prices. He goes on to say crypto is on fire, it's a hot currency, it's decentralized, it's global, right? So I think this is very bullish news to hear that more people are now also going into property expansions with this. If you guys didn't know, in the state of Wyoming, you can actually own full property rights purchased with Bitcoin. So they're already kind of leading the way. Also in the state of Wyoming, Kraken is looking to establish themselves as essentially a bank. They're slightly position themselves a little bit differently than a traditional bank system goes, but there's actually supposed to be more security based on the design of what they're going into, because they have to have an actual reference point of fiscal dollars backing the amount that they're claiming that they can be able to move and hold for people as a financial institution like that. So I think it's very interesting to see how everything is continuing to develop. You guys let me know what you guys think about that. Also, a quick side note, we are in the new daily candle position. It is 4:07 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of the time of me recording this video. And we have still held above $40,000. We'll talk about this just a little bit more in a minute. Looking at CoinMarketCap, who is leading the way still? Well, Bitcoin is still the top dog, and quite considerably. As you can see, it in comparison to Ethereum is holding about $604 billion, roughly 603.5, right? So there's quite a big difference between number one and number two spot. Bitcoin is the top dog. Ethereum is seeing some more momentum gained. To be totally fair with Ethereum, it is very close to its all-time high position. Once it passes $1,420, that's going to put it into the price discovery zone, which means that the sky is the limit. We don't have any reference points to say, well, you know, it could potentially bounce off of here, or we don't know how long it's going to take to get to here. Once it passes 1,420, then you say, well, we don't know how long it's going to take to get to here for a different reason. You know, you're still kind of saying the same line, but for a different reason, if that makes sense. I'm having fun with all this stuff. I hope you guys are too, because crypto is just absolutely explosive lately. It's doing amazing things. A lot of people are making profits. A lot of the people that have been very patient, especially through last year, or even more so, the people that have been patient since the drop in early 2018. Oh my gosh, man, all the people that have held on since then. I got in at 2019. I started learning about crypto and everything. It was about May or so of 2019. So I'm still fairly new into the space. Excuse me. I'm fairly new into the space, although I do spend time every day extensively looking into this and trying to look at past trends and understand things more and staying up to date with the news articles and stuff, as you guys can tell with our channel now. Boy, that sneeze just took a lot out of me. Give me a second here. You guys ever sneeze so hard it messes with your breathing? There we go. That's a little bit better. Sorry about that, guys. So looking at Bitcoin, number 1, Ethereum number 2, Tether still holding number 3, XRP surprisingly still in the 4th position. Even with all the negative news information, it has rallied up pretty heavy. A lot of people feel that the stuff with the SEC, that it's just, it's whatever. You know, like the exchanges, they're going to be delisting this. They'll come right back. It'll be totally fine. So there's a big, huge community that supports XRP. And right now it's holding pretty strong. But a big question is that last day, what's going to happen? Before, you know, I think it's January 19th for Coinbase. Are people just going to start massively dumping it? And so they're using this as kind of that last hurrah before they capsize this whole thing and everybody panics. So I think a lot of eyes are going to be on what's going on that last day, especially for Coinbase. Litecoin holding at number 5. Just kind of scrolling down the list here, you guys can see some of the top position movements that are going on. But more specifically, let's go ahead and shift over to the top 24 hours. So at number 1 is Maker, MKR. I actually like to see this a little bit more because just before I started recording my video, when I checked this out, it was showing BSV was number 1. Now, no offense to you guys if you're big supporters of Bitcoin SV, but Craig Wright, in my personal opinion, there's plenty of proof, not just evidence, but actual proof that validates that he is not Satoshi Nakamoto, that he's not the creator of this, right? So he has had lots of claims. There's been evidence that's been provided against that, which has been substantiated through empirical data that identifies that he is not the actual holder, right? So the fact that this rallied so much, I actually look at this more as a scam kind of token. But again, that's my own personal opinion. So you guys do whatever you want with that kind of information. We're going to take a look at the charts for Maker. I'm not going to be covering things with BSV unless it's news going on with the court case with Craig Wright. But you can also see Avalanche, which I'm not really familiar with. IOST I've seen before. 0x is still holding on pretty strong. It had a nice little daily movement as well. You guys can see it's passed above the 55-cent range. So let's go ahead and take a look over at the charts now. And as I said, today's video is going to be a bit shorter than what we normally have. All right, starting off with Bitcoin. And we will get to Maker on this chart too, just so you guys know. We have 2 days ago, January 8th candle. It had a peak of just under $42,000. I mean, it got really, really, really close. So that right now is where the goalpost is set. We got to try and pass that before we hit new all-time highs once again. Yesterday, we have almost essentially this formation of a Darth Maul. There was still a little bit of a substantial body taking place, but you got a high wick on the top and on the bottom, which oftentimes is reference to a Darth Maul candle formation. You can see here in the new daily position, as we're only 12 minutes in though, from that baseline closure at $40,253 from yesterday, we're already up several $100s, and we're essentially almost to the point breaking above where that establishment was on its initial decline. So this has plenty of room to grow. I would actually be looking at it from this perspective. Let's go ahead and extend that out a little bit and get that bad boy saved. If we were to have a potential level of resistance on the daily based on how this candle position has been moving over on the daily formation, we could see some potential resistance around $43,000, or for indicative purposes, we could see $43,134. I would be looking at as a major level of resistance. Now, as far as a major level of support, we actually have a pretty good formation continuation that's going on down here for a large consistency of these previous day candles, as you guys can see. So this would actually be at a baseline at $35,216. However, the wicks have dipped down and touched some key level metrics as well, or bouncing up and going off of these top levels. So I would be looking at 33,272 is another level of major support. Going a little bit further down below that, we could see it at coinciding in between these points, as you can actually see with the 21 EMA. That's actually something that's really important too. So that's a very strong level of support at $32,000. And a further drop down would then be around $29,800 or so. So yesterday's candle formation on the volume was actually quite considerably less than what we've been seeing. The last time that we had a low volume like this was actually around January 1st. So we've had essentially a full week of high level activity, buying, selling, mostly in the buying positions, as you guys can see with the climb up. back on January 4th. There was a very substantial drop with a strong form of recovery. Still ended in a drop overall for the day, but it could have been way worse, right? So the rally is still going on. It's still going strong. We're still moving in an upwards direction. Keep in mind that 21 EMA, its slope has been increasing a bit here. And if we actually just go ahead and try and use this as a little bit of a reference point like this, and we drag this along like so, we're going to go ahead and try and get this reference the best that I can for you guys from an angle perspective. All right, that actually looks like that's pretty good from that angle. Let's just say hypothetically it kept moving at that same position. Then what that would mean, and it's actually more than likely going to end up sloping up more again because it's a little bit of a lagging indicator, and as you guys can see, we've had some massive push-up days. So in theory, if this was to move sideways, then we would be looking at a crossover below the 21 EMA as of January 20th, and we could potentially see it happening sooner. The only way that we can avoid that from happening is if Bitcoin's price does continue to rise. So if it stays at this price point or it moves down, then the latest that we should expect to see based on those two metrics would be January 20th. And then we would be entering into a potential bear market. Just because it crosses below the 21 EMA doesn't mean that it's for sure. You could have fake outs where it just dips down one day and then comes right back up. So this is why with trends, you typically look at 2 to 3 pattern formations, ideally 3 instances to indicate that pattern formation, right? So 2-3 days of closure below signifies that there's more than likely going to be more days to come. We're in a very unusual circumstance with this bull market. So things that are unpredictable circumstances can happen. Like, for example, it could go 3 days under the 21 EMA. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. And then you're thinking that, okay, well, it's pretty dang likely that the 4th day now it's going to be losing more money. And then lo and behold, guess what? Elon Musk announces how much Bitcoin that his company has now purchased, or that they're about to purchase, or that Amazon says they now accept Bitcoin, or eBay says it, or Walmart says it, or PayPal finally launches and they go worldwide. Some other major news, some other major financial institution, some other individual becomes a big proponent supporter of it. Biden says that he loves the idea of Bitcoin. He thinks the United States and the world should be backed on it. You know, something crazy like that can technically happen. So to look at trends and say that the trends are the only thing to base things off of is unsubstantiated evidence. I would say that approximately 80% or so of the trades that take place are based off of trends, and about 20% of the time off of news. If the news is significant enough that you know it's changing the industry space, it's going to be largely changing the law of supply and demand to come from where the current market is, then that in itself should be enough for people to base and change their emotional perspective on where their investments are right now, right? So as it is, things are looking very bullish. I would very much keep an eye around January 20th if this continues to consolidate and move sideways. If this moves sideways, we could actually see an altcoin season starting to take place. Ethereum is already very close. Now we're actually going to take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is very close to breaking its previous all-time high. I'm going to go ahead and swap this over to the monthly so we can actually zoom this out just a little bit faster here. And as you guys can see, I don't know why that line isn't lined up very well right there like that. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and just draw this all the way out right over here like that. So as you guys can see, we have a top previously back in January 2018 that was at $1,420. That is a level of resistance. And with where we have our monthly candle, just look at this in comparison size to any other month that we've had with Ethereum. The closest thing that we had was back in January of 2018. Now, on the monthly candle formation, everything you're seeing right now, we're 9 days in, right? We're about a third of the way. So if you were to just hypothetically, and I don't think this is going to happen, let me clarify that to you guys right now, but hypothetically, if you were to keep up the same momentum for 3 times, oh, whoops, I was trying to duplicate it. And let's go ahead and go, I'm trying to remember where to copy these things. Dang it. Maybe I should have done clone. I'm not used to doing this part, to be honest with you guys. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Stupid moment for me, right? Anyways, so you look at this. If you were to say that we kept up the same momentum and we did this for the entire month, which is very unlikely, but you know, let's just say in a fairy tale world, everything decides it wants to just keep going in this direction, then that means by the end of January in 2021, we could potentially see Ethereum hit $2,500, giving you a price point that's $1,100 above that of the previous all-time high, which when you think about it, it's really not that crazy. I mean, we're already double what the previous all-time high was for Bitcoin, right? So to think that we're only about $1,000 or so above the previous all-time high for Ethereum, especially when Ethereum has so many other projects that have been built off of its blockchain technology, the ERC20 tokens, the Ethereum 2.0, the staking mechanics that they've added in too. I think a lot of people are actually surprised that we haven't hit that yet. So we're at $1,288 right now, getting closer and closer to that previous all-time high, getting very close to the potential to be able to expand out even further beyond it and having just a strong little rally going on. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at it just a little bit closer here in the daily. As it is right now, we have a major level coming up at $1,420, as you guys know. Besides that, let's actually draw ourselves all the way back over here. So this light little green line or bluish, yeah, it's like more like a blue line you guys can see right here. That's where we are at currently as of the time of making this video. Just slightly above us, you can see that there was a bounce that took place back on January 9th of 2018. That was around $1,300, which makes sense also from a psychological standpoint. So we're just slightly above 2 taps. This is actually a major level of resistance. If we can stabilize ourselves above this, then I would say we have a lot more potential to hit that $1,300. And so at $1,287, it is a question, are we actually going to see some pullback from the previous daily gains and start to go down again until we have another potential testing of this level? Because if we can break this level and break 1,300, then the next major level is not going to be until 1,333. And at that point, the last time that we had, instead of a bounce off of that point, we had one instance the day before that went all the way up to 1,386, and then there was the day or 2 days afterwards that it passed this top point that it hit its all-time high. And even after having a significant drop the following day, it recovered and held all the way above. So I don't look at a lot of substantiated level of resistance for 1,335. I think that is minimal. Right now with where we're at, I would say that's much more substantiated and saying that we really need to make sure that we for sure get above this level. So I am looking right here, as mentioned, right around the point of $1,288, just slightly below that, $1,285 or so. Let me go ahead and get this bad boy saved and let us go ahead and pull this back out. I want to go ahead and drag this all the way over. Sorry about that, guys. Just like that. Get that saved one more time. And now as we zoom back in on the charts right here, as you guys can see, we actually got pretty close on one of the previous days. It didn't quite hit it, but it bounced off. Daily closure was just slightly below it. On the candle formation so far, we are above it. There's been some selling pressure off of right around $1,300, which is what we were talking about here just a second ago, right? And I wasn't looking at this when I went over to that part of the chart. And so looking at that kind of position, where this daily candle closure is going to happen is going to be so key. If we can stay above this line, if we can go above $1,300 even, I would not be surprised if we see on Sunday going at least above $1,420, potentially a pullback down after it hits that level, but getting close to testing it, I think is very probable at this point. I would, just my own personal opinion, I would give it about a 70% chance that we could see if that candle closes for the next daily formation going in to $1,420. That actually would be opening up on a Monday, by the way, because we're now on a Sunday candle. So the closure would be going from the late Sunday evening after the 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the UTC time, right, going into the Monday position. And then the people that go into Wall Street, they're going to be all going back in and looking at how close we are, and that could be the final FOMO moment. for people to try and get in this project. So I would be very much keeping an eye on that, guys. Now, if it decides that it wants to go further down, we could actually see some major level resistance down to 1,138 and a further down level at $948. But that's very considerable. Right now, we are in a very strong bullish formation. All right, now let's go ahead and look at Orchid. And hopefully it's doing good. Cool, it is still doing good. And as I've been doing my coverage with this stuff before, you know, again, a little pat on the back. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, enjoying yourselves and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for, man? Look, there's other people that talk about crypto. Uh-oh, knocked over my water. Not my water. There's other people that talk about crypto news, but I tell you what, guys, we have fun here, all right? I got my foot up on my bed. You can't even see it. Probably a good thing because I got a hairy leg, all right? But we got a nice community here. We talk about crypto, and I want to continue to grow this, and I would love to have nice people like you be a part of this. And hopefully you're enjoying this news and information. I barely covered any news today. I normally cover a lot more news, but there's not really that much. It really seems like it's going on. So I just wanted to kind of keep it a little bit more refined. And I'm actually going a little bit long anyways. So let's go ahead and stay on track, but feel free to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes if possible. And also click the bell icon as well. So as it is right now, we are still above the 21 EMA. We had 1, 2, 3 days of closure, which I was saying is so important for Orchid based on its previous trend history since this decline with the $1 movement. As you guys can see, it's had a very progressive movement down. And then this fourth daily candle closure actually did close still above the 21 EMA. It had essentially almost bounced, got very close to touching that position and bounced back up, did close in the red. So, you know, a little bit of a cool down period, which is actually, if anything, good for Orchid because of its bad history of pump and dump situations. So to see it just kind of have some movement up and then a little bit of a pullback down and then a further continuation up, although it is a very big candle, which does concern me a little bit, but seeing how everything's finally like starting to show signs of a bull movement, knowing that our previous all-time high was $1, seeing these massive wicks that have taken place, there are people that want to buy a lot of this, but there's also a lot of shenanigans that seem to be going on in the background. And guess what? Shenanigans can only happen for so long. If the project is really promising, you know, all it takes is for you to be going and saying, hey, I'm going to buy and sell this project every time it moves a penny or 2 cents, and I'm going to take my profits with that. And then guess what? It's going to go up 2 cents, and there's going to be that one time that you sell out at that 2 cents, and then it does not come back down, and it continues to go up. And now you miss the big boat when it actually goes 4 times, 8 times, 16, 32 times, crazy numbers that you wouldn't have even expected, that you could have actually ended up gaining a lot more on instead of you penny pinching, doing those 1 cent, 2 cent type trades and trying to allocate more into your project, right? So keep that in mind. Now, with where we are currently at, we are touching right at the tip of this consolidated space, which I had highlighted previously. And you also see a further pop right up on the top there, which coincides with back on December 8th and the daily formation January 10th there. Looking at the RSI, we see another level at the 0.6 level, or sorry, 0.5, my bad. Hard to see with all the numbers there. At the 0.5 level, that is at 33 cents, 0.3383, which we're getting very close to. And we actually did pop above for just a little bit over 33 cents earlier. Things are looking very good, still showing strong rally signs. You can actually see that down here, the volume itself has curved just slightly, but if you actually look at it from another perspective, you can also argue and say that it is still on the decline. And then over on the RSI, it is tapping into a territory suggesting that it is being overbought. However, we are in a bull run, and this has been largely overdue, in my own personal opinion, because of the progressive amount of time that it's stayed going in a descending trend pattern. So this is a bit of a lagging indicator. I wouldn't be too worried about the RSI right now. Before this decides that it wants to have a recovery and come back down, I would actually be looking at it more towards the range, potentially when we near into the 40 cent or 50 cent ranges. Pulling up into that kind of zone puts us into a higher quadrant on the Fibonacci retracement. Getting into around the 0.786, I'd say is going to be pretty difficult unless we're looking at another, again, potential pump and dump situation. That's right around 42 cents. So I would love to see this go to $1. I think it deserves to be way above $1 if you want my own personal opinion on it, especially once they expand out to VPN space. Given the fact that they're just targeting VPNs right now, I can understand it having a smaller market cap, but their technology that they've developed, I feel is way underrated and undervalued. So I'm excited to see the future of this project. And, comparing it to, say, for example, Chainlink. Chainlink has a similar circulating supply, and Chainlink last year hit $19. All right. Now, Chainlink has more application uses currently than what Orchid does. That's one big thing to kind of take away from this. But just to keep in mind that the circulating supply, in theory, we know that it's possible. I almost said popsicle. We know that it's possible with a cryptocurrency to hit those similar numbers. So if this was to push up to $19, very nice. Is it going to happen? Probably not very soon, unless some other major news comes out and they have some sort of revelation, they go into new market space, things like that. If this decides it wants to go back down, 21 EMA is at 26 cents, 0.2642. I would then be looking at another major level of support right down here at 20 cents, or almost 21 cents, 0.2091. I'm actually going to go ahead and draw a line there so that we got a reference point for the future. All right, and I'm going to change that color too. Let's change that to red. Get that saved. Now let's go look at Maker USD. Okay, so I'm not sure if I've actually looked at the chart before with Maker. I think I have a while ago. I didn't draw anything as far as reference points here, as you guys can see, but looking at it, we have been above the 21 EMA, this yellow line, ever since back on December 26th. So we've had quite a substantial, nice little climb, some sideways consolidated action going on there, and then an exponential rise that really started to get initiated since January 2nd. Massive candle taking place on January 6th, did have some pullback, and even more massive candle that took place yesterday. I mean, this thing popped like crazy from $1,037 all the way up to $1,614. You're looking at a really nice gain. I mean, that's getting close to almost being double position, right? In the course of a single day. Anytime you have a movement like that, it's got to be a pretty good day for you, right? But keep in mind, when you have massive pumps like this out of nowhere, then it tends to signify that there's potential for a pullback. I did not actually see if there was any news on this, Maker Crypto news. I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick look and see if there's any major news that has come out over the last day or so. It says it rips 80% higher over past week. Maker price surges on DeFi growth. Not seeing anything too significant here at the moment. Hits 2-year high as DeFi continues to grow. That's something that we could actually really take notice of here. When we go back to previous trends, we don't have anything really to reference off of. Let's go ahead and go back to the 24-hour position so I can go back easily to Maker itself. Let's go look at the charts here. There's a lot of noise that's going on with this, so I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these things like the 24 hours right there, price in comparison to Bitcoin, the market cap, and let's just look at the actual price itself. So the all-time high for Maker is $1,773. That was dated supposedly back on January 18th of 2018, 1,773. And what are we at right now? 1,707. Previous on the daily was 1,763 according to the Coinbase. So very, very close to passing its previous all-time high. Now, I find it kind of interesting looking at this chart because I almost felt like this was above this level, but it looks like they're very close. So there's a good chance we can end up passing its previous all-time high. And again, psychologically, a lot of people say, hey, we don't know what's going to happen after this, or it'd be cool to even say we were part of this movement, especially if you've been a big supporter of a project for a while. It's like as if you're an NBA team, right? And you won your championship, and that's your home team. There's a sensation and relief of seeing it go through all the actual games leading up to it, the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, everything else that's been crazy that's gone on, right? And then you actually manage to succeed and hit another level of accomplishment. So I think that's actually more than anything that's fueling this is the fact that it's trying to rally past its previous all-time highs. Going past that level, guess what? Looking at $2,000. That's going to be the next major level of resistance. It's very simple numbers that we're working with here, right? So I don't need to try and overcomplicate things and throw out random numbers of things. Like, we're talking about simple, basic emotional responses. People want to see it hit $2,000 next. if it can go above 1,750. So can it hit $2,000? It's looking very probable. I will tell you guys that right now. I am still concerned a bit about this high level green that took place the previous day. So I would not be surprised to see a potential bounce off of something like this, in which if it does, let's go ahead and add the Fibonacci retracement position. And I'm going to be using a reference point off of $2,000. So this is strictly hypothetical, but if it decides it wants to go up to the top and then come back down, then right where we are at right now is the 0.236 level. So if it hits 2,000, comes down, we could see it potentially going down to 1,651 before it decides to try and figure out where it wants to go to next. And the next major level I would be concerned with is 1,432, right? So not a lot to work off of, but this is what it is. We have a major level of support formation right around here at $1,019. Then I would actually be looking at another major level at the 21 EMA at $875. But this rally is showing itself to be quite strong, so I wouldn't be surprised if it continues up. And then lastly, very, very brief quick look at XRP. Come on, I didn't want to do that. Looking at XRP, we can see on the daily formation, it is moving sideways. It's above the 21 EMA, still showing signs of bullishness. Could end up pushing up towards 44 cents next. Very concerning though, again, with all the lawsuits that's going on, and the fact that the exchanges are setting different restrictions on the trading for XRP, and a lot of people might potentially sell off right before then. If it decides it wants to drop back down, we're seeing some associations actually going around 21 cents, 0.2150, another level at 17 cents, and then another level at 10 cents, 0.1075. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let that be the end of the video, and video ended up being longer than my normal video. Jeez. Oh my God. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes on this video, guys. And also click the bell icon so you can stay up to date with the latest videos. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about everything said today. If there's anything that I may have missed that you think is important to share about crypto, stuff that's going on with the economy, all that good stuff. Even if you just want to say hi, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next episode.